I'd like to call the meeting to order. We'll have the pledge to the flag, but we'll also have a moment of silence, so please remain standing. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. As we all know, the moment of silence was for Janice Yeager and, of course, her 9/11 victims. This time I'd like to read a resolution. Whereas Ms. Janice Yeager served as a staff member of the Tri-Valley Central School District for 28 years. And whereas Ms. Janice Yeager exemplified extraordinary commitment to the students of the Tri-Valley Central School District. Whereas Ms. Janice Yeager passed away on August 31st, 2025. Be it resolved that the Tri-Valley Central School District extends its thanks to Mrs. Janice Yeager for her service, and be it further resolved that the Tri-Valley Central School District extends its sympathy to the family of Mrs. Janice Yeager during this time of mourning. Our next one is our correspondence. Do we have any correspondence for this evening? None this evening. We go into public comment session for the items that are on tonight's agenda. Anybody sign up for comment? We don't have any this evening. Number 4, guests and presentations. The first one is our athletic presentation, outdoor track by Mr. Tyler Eckhoff and Miss Skylar Musa. Just please turn the mic on and where everybody can hear you. Thank you.
I'm Skylar Musa, and this is Tyler Eckhoff. We are the boys and girls varsity cross country coaches. Thank you all for letting us be here tonight. We are just here to share our upcoming trip out to Phoenix, Arizona for one of the most prestigious races in the United States. The Nike Desert Twilight Invitational has, the last several years, been the winner of the race, often has become the national cross-country champion. In cross-country, it is the hardest of all 3 running seasons to even make it to the national level. So we just wanted to come and kind of explain the purpose of our trip and just talk about some logistics. So the reason that we are going out to Phoenix is, whether the kids believe it or not a vacation. We are there for a very specific purpose, and it is to not only compete in this race, but to compete at an extremely high level. We do have a young core group of athletes that we feel are responsible and worthy of taking on this type of trip, because we are expecting a lot of big things over the next several years. So the competition at this invite, it's one of the top 3 most competitive cross-country races on the West Coast. Like I said, the winner of this race is usually the cross-country national winner. The exposure, like I said, is to promote our up-and-coming team. They're very young, and we think we have a lot of potential in the next few years. And lastly is just to learn. So it is a big trip. It is a big endeavor to go, on a plane and to go to the West Coast. However, I can speak from my personal experience. I feel like I've learned the most through travel. I think traveling really encourages you to learn how to be resourceful, how to be responsible, how to be patient, and just to really kind of put you outside of your element. So we are excited that we do have several athletes that have never been on a plane. So it will be really neat to know that, we will have that part in their life. And so it will be a learning experience for sure.
And we do, we have very high expectations of these teams. We hope that we get them both to the state meet. Our expectations are that they both advance to the state championships. And at some point, if you're beating up on everyone in your backyard, you need to find a new neighborhood. And not that we're looking down upon other teams here, but we want to expose our kids to this high level competition. Now to go over the cost of the trip, we've been very successful in fundraising, and so the district is going to provide transportation to the airport, a bus down, a bus to pick us up and bring us back. The district has also paid our entry fee into the race, which they normally do for every race. But for our fundraising, we used our booster club, and we have pie sales. We have all different fundraisers throughout the year. We will be covering the flights, the accommodations, the rental vans, and food during the stay for all athletes and coaches going on the trip. And so this is not, other than the normal typical things in terms of expenses for the district, we are not adding extra expenses towards the district.
Just to quickly touch about the itinerary. So our race is it's at Toka Sticks Golf Course. It's a beautiful, beautiful golf course. It's very flat, obviously very well maintained. So it shows some of the fastest times of the year. We will be visiting a few national parks. One is in Sedona. We will be taking the students to Grand Canyon and then a tour of Antelope Canyon. And then lastly, on our return day, we are planning on visiting Northern Arizona University. So we were offered a private tour. They don't actually have tours on this day. They're giving us a private tour. They're providing students with lunch at their dining facility. And Northern Arizona University is in Flagstaff, Arizona. It is home to one of the top distance programs in the entire country, both men and women. And there are several professional training groups. There's an Adidas, there's an Under Armour, there's a Nike training group that live and train in Flagstaff. And they all work out at this university. So that will be a nice experience for the kids. We talk to them. They may not want to go all the way out to Arizona for college, but some of them, it's difficult for parents to be able to take their kids to all these college tours. And so, just the travel of that is unrealistic. And so we said to them, listen, if your goal is to one day attend college, it's good for you to just see lots of different colleges and take every opportunity that you're given.
I want to touch upon too, I didn't mention it before, but in terms of chaperones, Skylar, myself, Coach Travis Wolf, and his wife, Cecilia Pompey. I believe she's on the agenda to be approved as a chaperone. She's fingerprinted as well. And so those would be 4 adults traveling with the 2 teams. We have a varsity boys and varsity girls team, so 7 boys, 7 girls. Oh, touching upon past travel. So we actually have a great history here at Tri-Valley of taking kids to get this exposure across the country. We actually, 3 years ago, we came before you and talked about a trip. We went down to North Carolina for the Great American Race. Now, Hurricane Ian came through and canceled the race, and we lost power in our hotel, but it was kind of a nice teaching moment for athletes that there's some things you can't control and you make the best of every situation. But that's an example of travel that we've taken with athletes in the past. I actually went with the Ayatoros down to, or out west to Mount Sac about 13 years ago, where we exposed kids to high-level competition in California. And this is just a great opportunity. I think we have some great pictures of trips here. The Ayatoros at Tri-Valley took some kids out to Hawaii one year for a race. And there we are, Great American in the middle, and Mount Sac, the trip I touched upon.
I do just want to add, Tyler and I, when we were coaching and teaching down in Northern Virginia, we worked at TC Williams, remember the Titans school, so a big school. For 2 summers in a row, we took 14 athletes on a 7-day summer training camp. And so for 2 years we did that. And we drove 2 vans, and we went to camp in Claryville from Washington, D.C. And so the kids had never been anywhere like here. And seeing deer was like a big deal to them. So we have done trips like this in the past ourselves. We feel comfortable making a big trip like this. And lastly, we just wanted to thank Superintendent Long. We want to thank Kevin Crudeli. They've both been very, very helpful and supportive in this, in us proposing this trip. Mrs. Long, you know, I would say with this trip with our program, but even just athletics in general, I think athletics has done very well the past few years, and the more, you know, effort you put into something, the more success it will have. And I think we've felt that very much as coaches. And so, you know, it's not just us going to this race. You know, yes, we are there for a race, we're there for a purpose, but I do think it's important for students to experience things outside of Grahamsville. And so we just feel very valued and we really appreciate the support that we have felt.
Yes, and just, you know, kind of silly, but if you water something, it grows. And so our athletics, not my hair, yes, Miss Musa, but yes, in terms of our athletic programs, we've received tremendous support and we've had success. And I think you can see it in, we had 9 school records in outdoor track. We had 2 All-Americans and some great stuff going on here. And so we appreciate that support. And that's what, you know, is one of the things that's driving our program success. So thank you.
Anyone have questions? Okay.
What are the dates of this trip and how long are you going for?
We leave Wednesday, September 24th, and then come back Monday, September 29th.
I hope the weather cooperates this
Yes.
time. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
What a wonderful experience.
Thank you. That was your question. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we so students will miss the 24th, they will not miss school. And so the flights are not ideal for my sleeping schedule, but they're young, so they'll be fine. So 24 to the 29th. So they'll miss Thursday, Friday, and we come back Monday. We land at midnight. Students have to be in school Tuesday because we have a league meet on Tuesday versus O'Neill. So they will not be missing school. All right. Thank you guys very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our athletic programs at Tri-Valley certainly doesn't go unnoticed either here or in the community. We've had a lot of really special athletes over the years, and this year is no different. We have a number of athletes that are on the track team that are nationally ranked, just from Little Tri-Valley. That really says something about our programs here. But also, a lot of those athletes are scholar athletes. So thank you for that. We have the administration presentations now.
Good evening, everyone. It's always fun to follow up that with some graphs and data. So very exciting, though, that their trip to Arizona, and we wish them all the very best. We're going to talk about our title grants. We'll look at what we're going to do this year and then kind of what the trend has been for the last 3 years. So typically our Title I is for academics. We really are supporting that with our AIS, academic intervention support. Teacher salaries is really where that money is going. We are required to take some money from McKinney-Vento or homeless students. So there's a formula when you're filling out the application of what you need to allocate there. I believe this year it's just under $4,000. So it's not a huge piece of our over $280,000. But I want to point out 2 years ago when I started, our allocation was $391,000. So we are already down a significant amount in just a couple of years. And we've been working with the teachers, we've been working with Mr. Biebenroth on how we can still offer programs and how we can still support our teachers with less support from the federal government. Title II has been our most stable grant. Really, that is for our professional development. So we use it to support our mentor coordinator salary. And this year, instead of paying some outside providers, we're paying an integration technology specialist coach, which means we have someone in-house that can work every day with our teaching staff. and that one's about 29,000. So just about $2,000 difference from last year. 2 years ago was 30. So that one is our most stable, which is important because it allows us to bring different opportunities to our teaching staff, which can then go out and help our students. And Title IV is the one I think of as more the fun grant. It lets us do our academic enrichment. It lets us bring in any kind of outside assemblies we want. This year is still going to support our after school program, which we call STEAM. And we have a number of kids. I think each session we offer 3 has over 100 kids each time with a variety of activities that our teachers put on for them. CDOS Pathways, it supports the technology to actually record and keep data tracking for the state. And then this year, we also are doing a second step programs with a counselor. So a couple of months ago, you guys approved an SEL counselor that was grant funded. Part of that grant funding came from 611, and the other part of her salary is coming from Title IV. So when we look at it, Title IV is down again, almost $8,000. So costs go up, money's come down. So we've been really kind of creative in how do we maintain these programs. And talking with Mr. Beeman-Roth, it's really kind of where do we shuffle different resources so we can still do these things? Well, the government has changed actually our allocation. So in 3 years, we're down a delta of $118,000. So that's $118,000. We have less to work with through federal funding programs to help support our students. Our teachers have been amazing continuing with our programs. We've been resourceful and kind of getting some things the last couple of years that we can use year after year. As supplies, they're not as much consumables. So we're going to have another great year with our title services. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. So I just wanted to say this year is off to a great start. It was wonderful to see all the kids coming in. They were very excited, engaged in their learning. Part of what we did in opening days, I did a DASA review for the staff and an IEP and 504 legality and implementation session and presentation. The pictures up here, I just wanted to bring to your attention. Some of the kids in the classrooms are very excited. And Plory is our mascot from iReady. I had the pleasure of being Plory for opening days, and the kids were very excited. It's a different perspective when you're seeing the kids coming in the suit. But kudos to Jen, because she not only encouraged someone to be our bear mascot, but she got another person all excited to learn how to be a mascot. And hence the height difference and the no baggy stomach or legs from the first picture on the bus to the second picture, because this other student is absolutely over the top excited to be Plory. They've both been down to the elementary school. They go down for the bear things, and they're just a great team together. So kudos to Jen as we're trying to build more capacity with the mascots. They're fantastic. Any questions, by the way? Sorry.
Danielle. Good evening, everyone. Lots of different hats that we wear. Just to give you an idea of some of the things that have been going on in the MTSS supports. Our McKinney-Vento liaison hat that I wear for the district, we were able to have an actual orientation for any of our new teachers and any of our returning staff who are not aware of what the McKinney-Vento Act is. Mr. Snyder was just talking a little bit about that, having to do with our students who are homeless or in temporary housing. I was able to meet with the staff one of the opening days. They came down and I was able to give them some pointers as to what to look for throughout the school year for some signs and symptoms for any families or children who may be finding themselves with some hardships. Over the summer, re-verification letters were sent out to those students and their families that were coded last year as being in temporary housing. We got most of those letters back. Our numbers last year, we had 15 students, that's not families, but individual students who were coded as either in temporary housing or homeless for last school year. This year, we are up to 22 students. Again, that's not families, but individual students. I've been working with other districts and giving them a call because part of the federal act allows us to be able to determine who the school of origin is, which means what was the original school that the child came to Tri-Valley from. In other words, they will be able to help us with the cost of that student if they are placed here with our district in order to be able to have housing, in order to be able to have a roof over their head. So we're continuing to make sure that students who come to us, that they have what they need, and at the same time that we're able to hold other districts accountable for being able to help us financially support those students while they are with us. Moving on to a panorama survey, we have our SEL survey that we did last year. Last school year, we had 2 surveys go out to students. This school year, we're going to be doing the same thing. The great thing about the survey that will be going out to the students in the coming weeks is that we will now be able to see a growth score. So we will see where the students rated themselves last year as far as their confidence in specific subjects such as ELA and math. And now this year, when we release that survey again, we'll be able to see if they're feeling any more confident about it. With that information, with that evidence, we'll be able to help support those students in any of the areas that they either stayed stagnant in or decreased in how they're feeling about those subjects or themselves. Our school counselors will be a major part of that. The MTSS district-wide team, including both of our subgroups within that team, was able to meet over the summer. We had some great conversations. As of today, any of the students who were determined to be tier 3, which is needing the most support regarding their attendance from last year, are now coded in our student management system. In the meeting with the secondary school staff yesterday, I alerted them to the fact that this is now in each of the students' profiles. So as they're learning their students and any students who begin to accrue any absences, they can look into the details of that child and see if they're a student that we are intervening and helping to support and encourage to get to school this school year. And finally, Ms. Cornish, I was talking about it. We're continuing to find ways to want students and to have students want to come here with us. We are continuing our second year of our same student engaging in the bear mascot. I was able to actually meet with his father this evening, and he thought his son was in trouble. Instead, I wanted to tell him that his son has been doing an amazing job and certainly understanding that this is not just a silly part of the student's day. He is still obligated to do all of his coursework, be sure that he is eligible to be doing this, but that this is an opportunity for him to be able to earn graduation credits in order to graduate from high school. And of course, I did tell Dad that there are some NBA mascots that have a yearly salary of upwards $600,000 a year. So Dad loved hearing that. But that being said, we're continuing to just find ways to engage students to make them want to come here to school. Question?
How many tier 3 attendance students do we have?
So off the top of my head, we were looking at individual students that could all be from the same family. We had about 52 students, and that is first grade. So they would have been kindergarteners last year, this year's first grade, all the way to 12th grade, which would have been our juniors from last year. You know, we find that if it's multiple children in one household, that is really what we're targeting this year, is to be able to support the family dynamic there. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. So I wanted to start with kind of a little bit of a summer in review. The summer for us in the tech department is really probably our busiest time of year. There's so much that goes on for us during the summer, and it's just wall to wall. We have a spreadsheet that we track everything we try to accomplish during the summer that is several pages long and represents a great deal of work. So one of the things that we hit every summer is we do firmware updates on all of our infrastructure. So that includes things that people don't often think about, like our clocks, the wireless access points, servers, remote access controllers, which allow you remote access into a server even when it's powered off. Our UPSs, storage, things like that many organizations overlook updating these components and represent major security holes when they don't do that. We did an overhaul of our security on our staff Wi-Fi that made it so that it's much more secure for us. There's zero risk of a student or anybody on the outside discovering the password and getting onto that staff Wi-Fi network. And it also simplifies things for the teachers in that they'll never have to worry about changing the password again as we cycle that through. So it really accomplished two things for us. One of the major tasks that we do during the summer, and thank God we've got a number of students that work with us each summer that are so incredibly helpful, especially in this task. We do Chromebook evaluations and repairs. The students hand their Chromebooks in at the end of every school year. Most of the students hand their Chromebooks in like they're supposed to at the end of the school year, and we go through and we check them. We make sure they're completely functional. And if there's anything broken, anything like that, we get that taken care of over the summer. So when they return to the new school year, they're starting each new school year with a fully functioning device, any issues taken care of it, fully charged battery, because in the past when they had not been collected, they would often come in and the Chromebook had been sitting under a bed all summer or something like that. And then suddenly they have issues, and it could be a week or two into the school year before they have a useful Chromebook. We do a summer inventory every year, so I've worked a number of locations over the 25 years in IT, where organizations, you walk into a room and suddenly there's this computer from 30 years ago that is still somehow running, and the people are using ancient hardware. And by really staying up on our inventory, we make sure, A, we're not running anything that is no longer supported, that's a security risk, and also that we are always on top of it and replacing things so that our staff and everybody that relies on that technology is using new enough to be useful technology. We upgraded the last of our Windows 10 PCs, as the Windows 10 operating system is no longer supported in next month sometime, I believe. We also had, during one of our electrical storms, our front sign suffered some electrical surge damage. The parts, we actually just got the news this morning, the parts for that are on their way, so we should have that back up and running, fully functional again in a couple of days. But that took some time troubleshooting and determining exactly what the parts were and how much that was going to cost. We also lost one badge reader on one of the buildings across the street that was also killed during that same electrical storm. Some of the projects we still have in progress here from after the summer are upgrade of VMware. I spoke about that a few board meetings ago. And our new passwords change software, I'm hoping to have that fully implemented by next week, as well as we're going to be installing a couple of additional cameras over the next couple of weeks. And finally, our Chromebook handouts continue, just like not every single student is entirely responsible and hands it in at the end of the school year. Not every student comes in to pick up their Chromebook as fast as they should either. So we're chasing down those that haven't quite realized that they needed it yet. So, any questions?
What safeguards do we have in place for our security system in regards to lightning? You mentioned lightning hitting.
Most components of our system are protected by the UPSs. So things like our cameras. The cameras receive all of their power from our switches, and then our switches themselves are protected by high-level UPSs in every single closet. So those are all protected by that sort of thing. I'm trying to think of anything. Really, it's kind of ancillary things that aren't protected, such as the badge readers that let you into the building, the front sign. That there's no easy way, because of the way that they're wired, there aren't easy ways to protect those from those types of surge. But all of the key components of our security system are all protected against that sort of thing.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Exciting school year that we're looking forward to, and welcomed 400 students on Thursday. We have a senior class of 69 students this year, and they are ready to go and excited to be here and excited to live up their senior year, especially in the Bear Den. The most asked question I'm sure that everyone is asking and wondering about is our cell phone policy in our lockers, and it has been so beyond successful. I've talked to students, I've been in lunchrooms, I've had kids saying, Miss Eberly, look what's in my pocket, and their decks of Uno cards, because now they have to come up with new ways to entertain themselves. And they've honestly felt a sense of relief, is what I've been getting from most of our students. And we've had no pushback. We have some really, really great kids. Some of the other principals in the area have been reaching out and asking numerous questions on what are you doing here? What are you doing with this? And I don't really have an answer because our kids are just doing it and they are being so great. And it's been a wonderful thing to see. And I think as staff as well, we're also realizing the effects and, not checking our phones and really trying to follow by example. And it's been great all around. So super successful there. We held some student assemblies on Friday, welcoming our students back, grade levels, and really going into depth about the cell phone policy. So if they had any questions, they could come to us. We had some hyping up by Mr. Fantini. So we're all very excited about the school year. Our PLC communities, our professional learning communities, have started with our staff this week, was the first week. We're going to take a moment to kind of reset, get excited, and begin those as we move through the school year. Guidance and parent meetings have started. We did the rollout of our schedule changes. As you all know, the beginning of the school year is the busiest for guidance. So they have any of the requests that students have made, any schedule hiccups that we have seen. We work around some credits. We've got our summer region scores that come in just a couple of days before school starts. So we have to make some adjustments there. Our staff have been really great about making sure students know the process and how to do that. We also have some staff that have met with study halls, trying to encourage students to get involved and get into some courses that are still being offered. So we have a lot of that going on behind the scenes. We've had parents coming in asking questions. What are these courses? What can I do here? And what are some different pathways? So we work a lot with those families and touching base with them right now to get that out and rolling. Our after school programming will be beginning in a couple of weeks. We've got our academic supports that'll start up and some other clubs and initiatives that are going to be beginning. We have some new clubs that have also been started that we're super excited about, and so is our community as we start entering some students out into some volunteer opportunities. So that's another exciting thing that we're ready for and off to a great start. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. We were lucky to welcome 464 students to our school last Thursday. The last day of school, there were a lot of tears. Kids were crying because they didn't want to go home. And it was really great to see the smiles when they got to reunite with their friends and see their teachers and us when they showed up to our doors. So it was a great first day. We had our mascots out there, which you guys heard about. And the day ended up working out very well.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to piggyback on what Mr. Carbone said. It truly felt like a celebration on the first day of school. Students were extremely happy. There were so many smiling faces. There were balloons and music. So I just want to just give you that picture. It was just awesome. Excuse me. This week, Kevin and I had our Tri-Valley Beer expectations for our elementary students. It was great to, introduce our beer expectations for some. And then for others, it was a review. We just basically spoke about our expectations and just reinforcing that everyone is capable of producing and displaying excellence in school. It was also, excuse me, getting rid of a cold. It was, yes. It was also a great way to start the school year with positivity. So.
And lastly, we began our professional learning communities work as well. We sat with teachers and really investigated the team and what strengths that they bring to the team as we're going to begin to work a little bit deeper as the school year goes on. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, good evening, everybody. So season is in swing now. Our modified sports programs have started. It's great to see the kids excited. So last meeting, I had the participation numbers up. So we had 70 JV and varsity teams, or athletes, 21 modified. Just want to kind of show, there's still some kids coming up to me in the hallway. Hey, can I still sign up? Can I still sign up? And as long as we have room, football team is always open. I'll say that, but our numbers have jumped. So we now have 108 JV and varsity athletes, and we're up to 71 modified athletes. So if we look back to last year's total, we are right where we were, maybe even a little above, but just wanted to kind of show that that first week of school when the kids get back and they see their friends playing, or for whatever reason we get that giant spike in registrations. I want to give a shout out to our nurses who take that giant jump and do what they can, do their best work to get these kids cleared. We also have Arbiter Live as our new schedule page. So the link on the Tri-Valley website has been switched to this. With the section switching programs, this is what we have to use now. They're still making some minor tweaks. If you used to use Notify Me, sorry, it doesn't work anymore. But you can go on there, go on the page, click follow. They'll give you all the same updates. Our homecoming week is October 6th through 11th. We'll have the bonfire game and dance that week. 7th and 8th grade recess has started. The weather has been absolutely perfect, so they've been outside. We've added a net onto the goal up there, so we have some kids playing soccer, football, frisbee. Honestly, the nicest thing for me with the PE background is these kids are creating their own games. They kind of leave the equipment sometimes, and they're having a great time up there, so it's really great to see. And the last thing is the Snack Shack is open for business. So we've been handing out athletic snacks. It's funny seeing some of the 7th graders. I had one of the first days kind of like ease up to the window. You want a snack? I don't have any money. Well, it's free. It is? Yeah, it's free. Okay, and grabs it and like runs away. But it's been great. So the word's getting out that the snacks are there, and kids are really enjoying themselves. And the last thing is, as always, we are streaming all of our home games, so that link has stayed the same, and we'll be even streaming the modifieds on the backfield with our huddle. Any questions? Yeah.
So we had issues last year with sports busing. I know the girls' varsity soccer team had an issue already this year with the bus being approximately 20 to 30 minutes late to the school.
So I gotta say, overall,
Not a good start.
Yeah, overall, Rolling V has been working with us. I mean, we really tried to make the best of the situation with the girls' game the other night. I know the girls were thrilled to have another night game. So you try to, make things the best they can be. On the other kind of flip side, Rolling V tomorrow is going to pick up our team from BOCES, or our few athletes from BOCES before we depart for the game, and they're really haven't had too many conflicts yet.
Just mention it's because it's something that we need to really keep a close eye on so it doesn't get out of hand again.
Once is not acceptable.
All right, thank you.
Number 5 is superintendent's report.
Good evening. I'd like to start by taking a moment to extend our sincere thanks to our partners in law enforcement for their diligent work throughout the night last night. Their swift investigation led to the tracking of the social media post in question, and appropriate action has been taken in collaboration with the legal system and in alignment with our district's code of conduct. And I want to reiterate 2 very important points. We have and we will continue to hold a strong zero tolerance policy regarding any threats of violence towards our student and staff. And let me be very clear, any student that makes a threat of harm against any student, staff member, school, or our district will receive the maximum consequence of long-term suspension and possibility of expulsion from our entire school district. I also want to bring up the point that it is critical that we all remain vigilant. If you see something, say something. Last evening was a perfect example of how communication and timely reporting protected us and our community. And really, by the time we were finished, it was early this morning. Most of us were up all night long investigating this. And because law enforcement did not stop, they were getting search warrants at 3:30 this morning, having them signed by judges, the judge at 5 a.m. We were able to put this to rest immediately. So thank you to everyone that helped with that. Now let's talk about some good stuff. It has been a wonderful week back to school. We have enjoyed reconnecting. It's been so fun to welcome our kids back. We had 2 wonderful opening days with our staff, and it's really nice to see that positive energy that's happening here. I think the best part really are these cell phones. The kids they're doing it, and our staff is supporting it, and they're modeling, and we're modeling. And when you go in the cafeteria and you see tables of kids talking, or the whole cafeteria breaking out in song for a brother's birthday, it's just been really fun. And there's great energy happening right now, and we want to continue that. So thank you to everyone who's been making this such a great start. That's all I have.
Thank you. Number 6, items the board wants pulled from tonight's agenda. Anyone? Number 7, consent agenda. Resolution to approve the entire consent agenda. Have a motion?
Second.
Tammy? Second? Jerry? Any discussion? Proceed to vote. Motion passed. Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education does hereby approve the entire consent agenda, categories 8 through 13. Board committee reports. Policy committee has nothing to report at this time. Anybody else have a committee report?
Report on the goose.
Carrie Ann?
Nothing makes me more excited than to lead this goose committee. So we are going to be having our first meeting next Wednesday at 5 o'clock here in the collaboration space to come up with some kind of solution moving forward to address the geese over at the track. And right now, the committee will consist of myself, Pat, Nicole, and George. So if you are around at 5 o'clock next Wednesday, please join us.
What's the date of that?
That is the 17th,
5 o'clock?
5 o'clock.
Thank you. And who's on the committee?
Pat, Nicole, myself, and you.
Thank you. Old business. Anybody got any old business? 15, public comment session for items that are not on tonight's agenda. Anybody? Nobody signed up? Any new business? None? Board comment section. Travis?
Thank you. I have nothing tonight.
Christopher?
Yes, I just had a quick question on the students' calendar. So it was brought up in my history class, and a lot of students were worried about it. In the start of January, the people who are taking the honors English essay have 1 week off of school. They were wondering if that's going to take off like their spring break or summer break.
No, not at all. So what we're doing is we're offering a Regions Week in January because honestly, we find it's really hard to get enough adults to proctor the exams. So this will allow for Regents review for some classes. It'll allow for midterm exams, and then it'll allow for the Regents exams to take place. So it'll be just like the Regents Week that we have in June. It will not impact any of our vacation times.
Great, thank you.
Christopher, if I may, how do you feel the rollout went in reference to the cell phones from the students?
Yes. So I've noticed a lot of students saying that stress has been taken off of them. Even in like my lunch class, it's a lot peaceful, I'd say. Louder because people are off their phones, but definitely less stressful. I've just noticed that I felt the school has just been a better place. We all thought it was going to be very difficult, but since no one's using their phone anyway, uh, there's really no point of being on the cell phone.
Thank you. Tammy?
I'd like to welcome Mr. Prasalis to the board. It's a pleasure to have you here with us. I'd also like to welcome back the staff and students. I look forward to a wonderful year. I'd like to extend my deepest condolences to all the families who've lost loved ones due to the September 11th terrorist attacks. My deepest condolences to Mrs. Yeager's family and friends on her loss. And Erin, are you able to update us a little bit on the summer student interns that we had?
Sure. We had 17 students that worked with us this summer. They worked in the maintenance department, they worked in the tech department, and then they worked, some worked in the cafeteria for our 2 weeks of our summer program. And then the rest were clerical, so we had them in the district office. They were helping out in some of our secondary buildings and elementary buildings. A group of our students built the cell phone boxes at the elementary school. God bless you. They were really a blast to have. They learned so much during the summer. Our maintenance crew really takes the kids under their wing and teaches them, you know, some of the skills that they have between the painting and the woodworking and the sheetrocking and what goes into that. And we had a nice cookout at the end of the year with all of the kids, and really fun group of kids. It was a nice summer.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Also, the summer program, how many participants did we have? And tell us a little bit about that.
Frank, help me out with this one. How many do we have? We're rolling it up right now. 94 students in our 2-week program. And so 1 week, our primary students participated in the play. They did a theater production in 1 week. And the intermediate students did a week of STEM. So they were working on some robotics. And then we flip-flopped the following week. So, we've lost some of that ESSA funding that we've had, and that does impact our ability to provide transportation and programming. And, we're always, eyes are open for grant opportunities because our kids have really grown to love those projects and those activities. We had kids shaking their hands with the dogs that they made, their robotic dogs. They were chasing Mr. Snyder around with the dog. And so we really, the kids learned a lot. It was a fun couple weeks.
Good. I had the pleasure of enjoying one of the plays that was put on, and it looked like the students were truly having a lot of fun.
Amazing what they put together in 4 days.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes, it was.
Thank you, Tammy. Gary Ann?
I just wanted to thank and recognize the administration for the welcome and kickoff for the first day of school. I did hear a lot of positive feedback from members of the community and the kids. Who would think that red and blue balloons as to welcome you into the building would create such joy? But
Homemade arches. Let me just let you know, my fingers are still sore. Yeah.
It didn't go unnoticed, and I think it's really a great way to have that positive encouragement, enthusiasm, school spirit that we lack in some respect, and it's a great way to kick off the school year. So well done.
Good fun.
Thank you. Gary?
Great to hear that the cell phone policy is working so well.
Thank you.
Nicole?
I just want to send out my deepest condolences to the Yeager family. I remember Mrs. Yeager being in the elementary office, and she was just always so happy and such a warm and inviting person. So my deepest condolences to them. Welcome back. You guys did an amazing job presenting. What I look forward to most on Thursdays. But
Mr. Pat? Ms. Rose?
The only thing I have is that I actually love the new athletic schedule website. It makes it so much easier to see when you have kids in multiple sports. I actually don't anymore, which is strange, but but it's very helpful to be able to see, based on each sport versus having to scroll through and find. So that's it.
I'd like to say, really feel great about this rollout of the cell phone. I've been on the board for 3 years and I've been trying to get it done, even though the policy of the board said no cell phone use. But it's done, and you got to give a lot of credit to the parents and to the students. It was rolled out very well. There's going to be some hiccups, but we got it done, and I think it's the best for everyone, including the staff. And I think it will make their nightmare go away that they've had with their cell phone use. But thank you for that. And another thing that we must stay vigilant. We have good security here for the faculty and for the students. But if you see something, say something. The General, George Washington said, the general is only as good as the troops. So please remain vigilant. Thank you for the evening. Motion to close the meeting? Amy? Second? Nicole? Thank you. All in favor? I think this one passes unanimously. Thank you. Everyone have a good evening.